Have you become a widow and find that your life is filled with messy emotions and situations? Are you trying desperately to get back to the person that you once were? Are you feeling like you're walking on a treadmill and getting nowhere? I'm Cheryl Parker. I'm the founder of MyGoodGrief, and I work with professional, successful women just like you who have lost a spouse. And I give you a safe place to land with all those messy emotions. And I help you get clear about what's important to you right now. And I help you rebuild by creating a plan so that you can focus at work and yet learn how to live again at the same time. And having international clients all over the world, I've seen how people grieve differently and yet with a thread of similarity. And I want to talk to you today about the stages of grief and how grief can change us. The stages of grief have been widely published, but they've also been misunderstood as being linear. There's like a set of stages to walk through one by one. And that's not the case at all. The stages of grief are helpful to help you frame the emotion. I know for me, it helped me frame the emotion so I knew I wasn't going crazy, that all those emotions were normal. But you will cycle through those stages, not particularly in any particular order. And sometimes you'll cycle through them more intensely than the time before. And you'll just keep cycling through all these different emotions. And I think that there's an expectation that once you go through that stage, that you're finished with that one and then you go to the next one, and that there's like a finish line. But that's not the way grief works. And it's really helpful if you can understand that it's not linear and that they're all normal emotions and that you will cycle through them. Again, not in any particular order and not in any particular intensity. There's no right or wrong way to go through the stages. But it's also important to know that grief is not there to help us restore to who we once were. Grief is actually an exploration of who we are now and how it's going to change us. And there is a part of us that needs to allow grief to change us. And a really helpful exercise is to get a little notebook out and write down how grief has changed you. Write down, how has it changed me financially? How has it changed me emotionally? How has it changed my situation at work? How has it changed my situation with the family and friends? There's all kinds of impacts that grief can bring into your life. And it's really an exploration of who we are now. And who are we going to allow grief to change us into? Because it doesn't all have to be bad. Grief can change us in a good way. It can help us reprioritize. It can help us learn a new way of gratitude. It certainly helps us get in touch with our feelings. Helps us set boundaries. Helps us learn our limits. There's so many good things that can come out of grief. And I know that can't always be obvious right now, depending on where you're at in your grief process. But I would take the time and just write that down now, and then you can compare later on. And it's going to be an ongoing exercise. If you'd like to learn more about working through the process of grief, click on the link below and visit our website. And let's rediscover the beauty of life together.